The first ever black president will be followed by a president who's endorsed by the KKK. Bob, where does that leave you?
Could you pick some? I can't imagine anybody more marginal to American elections than the KKK.
On the one hand, we're told that Trump's appeal is that he says what he thinks and he says it like it is and that sort of thing.
Oh, but
and then on the other hand, we're told that somehow he doesn't really mean it. So which is it? There's something very troubling about that.
No, I'd
Most
say something
Republicans,
entirely
even Paul
different.
Ryan, have accepted that Trump has been racist in his language. You don't.
That's not true. He hasn't been racist.
Textbook racism is the phrase he...
Now, as usual, I want to be 100% transparent with you guys. This is a clip from 10 years ago. I think this was November 2016, just after Donald Trump had won the election. But in this clip, we literally see a Nigerian novelist. She literally warns us. She warns us against Donald Trump's racism, how Donald Trump is going to segregate and divide America, and literally just points out some of the reasons why people should be alarmed at the fact that Donald Trump was voted into office. And we're going to see this sycophant sitting next to her try and defend and justify and try and excuse Donald Trump and the rhetoric that comes out of his mouth. This is a clip that I believe all people, especially my audience, need to see. Okay, so make sure you guys check this out and watch it in full. As usual, I'm going to hold what it is that I've got to say towards the end for this. But then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my opinion, etc. towards the end. Let's get into it.
Does it feel to you America has changed?
I feel quite numb. I felt quite numb since the elections, and I think I felt numb because I was genuinely surprised. And I wasn't surprised because I live in some sort of liberal bubble where I was just surprised because I felt that people would reject the package in which Donald Trump's message came, right? So that the idea that there are people who, the sort of populism, that idea that there are people who've been neglected and we need to look out for them, I think is valid. But what is shocking to me and what has made me feel so numb and sad and angry is that it seems that people who have accepted this idea also accepted the other things. I mean, we can talk about lying and talk about a person who has consistently been shown to lie about big things and small things. And so to somehow suggest that Hillary Clinton was not, and by the way, we should also say that she actually was voted for by more Americans numerically than
in the
Donald
popular
Trump.
vote.
So there isn't a question somehow that nobody voted for her.
Bob, you're raising your eyes when you hear this. What is going through your head?
I don't really respond to an election the way this lady does. I don't respond to it emotionally. I'm looking at the evidence, and the evidence suggests that there was a reason for this.
But doesn't it worry you when you hear the kind of protectionist, isolationist rhetoric because you don't believe it or you don't
First of all, I don't believe it's protectionist. I don't believe it's isolationist. I believe we're going to have a very active foreign policy. I believe that Donald Trump is going to be in the great line of American internationalists. They started with Arthur Vandenberg in 1948, and they've continued.
And isn't that the point? You have to give them a chance now. You have to embrace what democracy has chosen.
I'm sorry. This is absolutely absurd. We can't create an alternate universe where the real Donald Trump doesn't exist. He campaigned as a man who is protectionist, who actually doesn't abide with many of the traditional conservative values. Who does not? And so to somehow suggest that he's going to be some sort of internationalist doesn't make sense. And can I actually say that I find it patronizing to be told that I respond to things emotionally and that somehow doing that means that I don't respond to things in a way that looks at evidence. We are talking about, we're talking about Donald Trump who's been shown to lie over and over, and that there's evidence for that. So to somehow say that, to point that out, is to be emotional, I think is just really absurd.
We're going to hang on to that thought for our next chat. Let's go to our panel right here, Bob and Chimamanda. The first ever black president will be followed by a president who's endorsed by the KKK. Bob, where does that leave you?
Could you pick some? I can't imagine anybody more marginal to American elections than the KKK. I mean, every 4 years the KKK comes up because people like Hillary Clinton want to bring the KKK up.
So it doesn't shock you, it doesn't horrify you. They're holding a rally in December to celebrate his victory.
Yeah, and so are probably the Knights of Columbus. Now, why don't you talk about the Knights of Columbus? Maybe you don't even know what the Knights of Columbus are.
Another extremist group?
It's the largest Catholic organization of Catholic males in the country. Let me just point out to you, it's inappropriate to talk about the KKK in the same sentence as Donald Trump or any Republican. They're utterly marginal. They wouldn't even exist if it weren't for every 4 years you trot them out.
Chimamanda.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say about that.
You know, I find it really interesting. It seems to be a refusal to accept reality. So she's asked a question about the KKK, and it hasn't been engaged with, and instead we're being told that there's this other group called the Knights of St. Whoever. The point is the KKK exists. The KKK endorsed Donald Trump. The KKK stands for white supremacy, and that has to be acknowledged. That has to be pushed back on.
Is there nothing on the campaign trail that he said about race that hit you?
Yeah.
Did you worry about any of it?
No. In fact, you people keep magnifying it. The left in America and the left in Great Britain keeps magnifying it. But he talked about a lot of other things, and those things should get through.
And that is possible.
This is ridiculous.
If you have a fifth of Latinos or Hispanics voting for Trump all the same, maybe race wasn't an issue, even to the people he
I find that
talked
argument
of.
to be very troubling. The idea somehow that if Hispanic or even any people of color vote for somebody who's racist, it means he's not racist. I mean, every system of oppression has people who are in the group of the oppressed who somehow contribute to that oppression. So it's not even a valid argument to make that because Hispanics voted for him, therefore. I think what we should do is look at Trump for who Trump has told us and shown us that he is. So let's look at what he said on the campaign trail. That's really what, because the only way we can judge the kind of president he will be is based on the campaign that he ran.
But maybe he didn't believe anything that he said, and maybe that's how you win a
But then that's the
primary.
problem, because on the one hand, we're told that Trump's appeal is that he says what he thinks and he says it like it is and that sort of thing.
Well, but
and then on the other hand, we're told that somehow he doesn't really mean it. So which is it? There's something very troubling about that.
No, I'd
Most
say something
Republicans,
entirely
even Paul
different.
Ryan, have accepted that Trump has been racist in his language. You don't.
That's not true. He hasn't been racist.
Textbook racism is the phrase
let me
he
tell you,
used.
because of the, you're going to say this is
if you're
because
a
of
white man, you don't get to define what racism is.
Oh, I see. I don't
you really
get to
don't.
define it.
So a man who's been racist, you don't
get.
get to sit there and say that he hasn't been racist when objectively he has.
Do you know
and
what-
it's not about your opinion. The objective things. Racism is an objective reality, and Donald Trump has inhabited that reality.
Do you know that the false consciousness, which is the theory you're talking about, is a Marxist concept? And I have, in other words, I can't even open my mouth here because I'm a white male.
No, of course you can. I'm just saying to you that Donald Trump has shown us and has said things that are objectively racist.
No, he
so
has
it's not
not.
about my emotion. But how
What
can
has
you
he
say that?
said?
If he says to us, for example, that a judge, a United States judge, is unable to judge him fairly because he is Mexican, that is racist.
I wonder-
Objectively
I'm
racist.
sorry,
We're nearly
but
at the end
I
of
looked
our-
at Judge Curiel, and he didn't look any other color than my color.
But that's not the
Yeah,
point.
well,
it's
it
about
is
what,
the
it's
point.
about what your candidate said.
I'm going to move this on just for a final thought, which is, will Donald Trump govern in the same way that he campaigned?
No.
And that's a
He's
good
not
thing or a
gonna-
bad thing?
It's a proper thing. He showed you how he's going to govern starting the other night when he was dignified, charming, and very focused.
Chimamanda.
I think it's very sad. I think the standards have been so lowered for Donald Trump that because he manages not to behave like a spoiled child, he needs to be praised. I mean, it seems to, in some ways, this is kind of a crude analogy, but it's kind of like, you know, throwing a little tantrum and letting a little child drive a very sophisticated car. And so to say to us that we have to disregard everything that Donald Trump said and did during his long campaign and judge him just on the one day after he had won the election doesn't make sense.
What did he say that was so racist?
Bob Tyrrell, thank you very much.
Guys, she tried to warn us, man. She really tried to warn us. Listen to all the things that it is that she said and all the defenses this Trump sycophant tried to give. She tried to warn us even back then. That says a lot, guys, because a lot of the things that it is that she said have turned out to be true. It's turned out to be true. Honestly, even literally the last point that she made at how low the bar is put for Donald Trump simply because of the fact that it's Donald Trump. Whereas if it was any other politician, a whole load would be said about it. She really tried to warn us and we did not pay attention. I just wanted to bring this clip up to you guys because it's just interesting, some of the things that were said. It really just highlights how much Donald Trump, how much damage he's done to the world of politics, how politics is. Because people saw what Donald Trump was going to be like before he was even like it. Like I said, take what was said in this clip and understand that this was 10 years ago, 2016, November. It's now February 2026. And look at Donald Trump's body of work within the world of politics. Absolutely crazy. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this clip in the comment section below. And do me a favor, while you're down there, hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and give the video a thumbs up. Chilling stuff, man. Chilling stuff. If only people would have listened back then, and even some of the points that she made about people of color, Hispanics, voting for Donald Trump even back then. They didn't learn their lesson. And now look what's happening. Donald Trump is trying to erase Black history, and the Hispanic community are being deported at mass. Lessons haven't been learned. See you guys in the next one.